All right, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're talking about the tires that I have had on a bike the longest out of all of my bikes. But before we get into today's video, if you are new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So behind me, we have my Specialized P3, my good old trusty dirt jumper that I've had now for 10 years. Holy smokes, I've had this thing for 10 years now. And it gets put to work. It gets beat up. It gets used, abused. It does its job really well. And one of the things that makes this bike so reliable and works so good for me is the tires I've had on here. So the tires I'm running on here are the Kenda Small Block 8s. Now, very common tire for dirt jumpers. Honestly, if you look online, you search up Small Block 8s, you will find endless information about the Small Block 8 tires. I wanted to come in here and just give my confirmation of how good of a tire they are, and why, if you're looking for the kind of specific skill set this tire has, why they're a great option for you. So, the Small Block 8s, I've been running these on this dirt jumper for essentially as long as I've had the bike. Let's see, probably close to 8 or 9 years. I've had some sort of a configuration with Small Block 8 on here. And that's really because with the dirt jumper, it's not my main bike I ride, so I tend to just swap one tire at a time. As the tire wears out, tread goes bare, sidewall blows out, whatever it might be, I just buy a new one. I buy one and replace the one, and there we go, keep on going. So I've had them in one way or another, and I think the current ones that are on here are about 7 or 8 years old. They are quite a old tire. Like I've said, out of all the tires I have on any bike, these ones have been on there the longest out of them. So on this bike, we're running these in a 26 by 2.1 inch tire. Kind of what fits the best. It came with a 2.3, but I didn't want to go with 2.3. I wanted it to be a kind of narrower size, a little bit better rolling resistance than the fatter tires. Obviously, we got a dirt jumper here. You want that speed, you want low rolling resistance so you can keep that speed up and it to function really well in that hard packed dirt and even in skate parks. That's kind of what you want this bike to do, and the Small Block 8s knock that out of the park. So, Small Block 8s, the tread pattern on these, pretty minimal, but there is still tread pattern, but there is definitely still tread to them. And that's why they work really well for dirt jumping. Honestly, the Small Block 8s were first designed as a cross-country tire. Kind of makes sense. Same kind of things apply to cross-country as dirt jumping. With cross-country, you want a low rolling resistance on the tire so you can roll through, and a little bit of grip to kind of get you by. Works pretty good, right? So, kind of makes sense where that came from, and they ended up working really well for dirt jump bikes as well. So they offer these tires in a bunch of different TPI, so that's threads per inch. So essentially how supple that tire is going to be. I've run everything from 30, 60 to 120. It's pretty much the max. The front tire on here is, I believe, a 30 TPI. The rear tire is actually 120 TPI. So a little bit more supple on the rear. Did I do that purposefully? Not really. Kind of just what came about. Kind of just how things happen, and that's kind of how it was. And you can definitely tell there's a difference between each of those TPI, the threads per inch. There's definitely a difference in the suppleness of the tire. The 120 is definitely a nice feel to it. And it's kind of what I run on the rest of my bikes for the most part as well, as 120. It just feels better in my opinion than, you know, those lower TPIs. However, if you're looking for just a basic tire to get by, you can pick up that basic tire with the 30 threads per inch. You would be perfectly fine for any kind of basic bike. But you want the high performance tire, they offer the high performance tire as well. Kind of really cool that Kenda offer that wide range of different styles of this tire, different use cases for this tire because it was such a good tire. So like usual, we're going to go ahead, we're going to read what this tire was designed for, and we'll see if we completely agree with that, and then we'll go through kind of what they rate this tire at for different circumstances and different conditions it would be in. So Small Block 8 is a super versatile cross-country racing tire with lots of speed and grip, well suited for a variety of riding conditions. Fast accelerating, hard-packed cross-country tire, numerous knobs provide multiple contact points with the ground while having semi-slick speed, and it works for front and rear. So, really nice tire. Kind of what I said. It was made to be a cross-country race tire. Low rolling resistance while still being able to have that grip you need if you were to, if you needed a little bit of grip on the trail without being a full-on slick tire. So what they rate this thing as, they go to 5-star for speed, highly agree with that 5 stars there. 3 stars for protection. I agree with that. We'll get to that in just a moment here. Grip, they give it a 4 star. Definitely agree with the grip on here. These tires do really well, kind of on whatever surface you take them on. I used these tires when I was commuting around campus when I was a college student. Worked great for that. I've ridden them at skate parks. Worked great for that. I've ridden them dirt jumps. Works great for that. Pump track works great for that. Kind of hard to beat it. They work really great. I don't think I've ever actually slipped out on the bike with these tires on there. So kind of goes to say that, yeah, they do a really good job with grip. And then they give it a 3 star on durability, which I'll kind of go into with the protection part here. So for protection, so obviously protection from like thorns, anything like that, punctures, they do a pretty good job. I'm trying to think if I ever had a puncture from a thorn, and I may have had 1 or 2 when I was like commuting around college campus way back when. I may have had a puncture with thorns. You know, that no big deal. It happens with pretty much any tire out there. Nothing I really would be like, oh, it's a horrible thing. The tire's horrible. It got me punctures. No, I thought these tires did a really, really good job for that. Now we go to durability. So durability, so they give it a 3 star, which I would agree with that kind of 3 star rating on these. What I find to be kind of the downfall with these is the sidewall on them. So the sidewall on these, for whatever reason, it's kind of a thinner sidewall, and it tends to wear out and break down. And that's kind of what I've had. That's a lot of times what has happened with small block 8s. And why I've had to switch a few of them is because the sidewall will eventually just degrade to the point where it doesn't really hold air. And you can kind of see, especially on this rear tires, getting some cross hatching in here. It's getting a little bit of tears in the threading. And that's kind of what I've seen happen. Now, I mean, how often does that happen? Not very often, to be fair. It takes quite a while for them to do that. I mean, like I said, I've had these same tires for 7 years. And finally seeing on the rear tire that's doing it to the point where I'm like, yeah, okay, I probably should do something about it. So, it doesn't, not the worst thing. But yeah, if you land on a weird, running too low of pressures, or even smack the sidewall pretty good on something, it's possible the sidewall might give out on you. It's kind of the only downfall I've really had with these tires. But again, it's not been something that's been like a drastic thing that I'm like, oh, I hate these tires. I never want to use these tires again. It's something that you just kind of live with. It's an okay thing. It happens rarely and occasionally. Like I said, I've run this on dirt jumps. I've run this to skate parks. I run this commuting. I'm currently racing on this bike with these tires on there. And it does good. That's not something I'm really concerned about, the sidewall giving out on me in any of those conditions. And in general, some of those are pretty tough conditions for a bike tire to be in the first place. So for me, I personally love these small block 8 tires. Now, Kenda, it is kind of one of their legacy tires now. So you can still find them out there, but they're not readily available, I believe, from Kenda directly. So when I talked to Kenda at Sea Otter a couple of years ago, and I told them, hey, I'm still running the small block 8s. I love the small block 8s. What they told me is the Kenda Boosters, which is the tire I'm running on my cross-country bike. And I did a review of those about a year ago. That is kind of their replacement for the small block 8 tires. It's a little bit different of a tread pattern, but still has that really nice rolling resistance to it. Kind of has all the same kind of things that the small block 8 was really known for, just in a little bit different of a tread pattern design. So if you guys want to see more about that tire, I'm going to have a link to that in the description down below, so you can learn about the Booster if you want to check out that tire. Again, that's a great tire too. Check those out if you want kind of the updated version of the small block 8s. So now it's time for these small block 8s to take a break. Honestly, that's one of the big reasons I'm making this video, is because we're going to try a different tire out on the dirt jumper. After pretty much 10 years of this bike, we're going to try a different tire out and see how that tire does. Especially as we're doing kind of different use for the dirt jumper now. It's racing BMX. We're doing a different use. Trying to try a different tire. However, small block 8s will always have a place for me, and will always be something that this bike will enjoy if I choose to go back to them. So if you guys are interested in checking out a set of Kenda small block 8s for yourself, I'm going to have a link in the description down below. Check them out. If you guys want to check out any of Kenda's other tires, I'll have a link to Kenda down below as well. You can check out all their different tires and all the different reviews I've done for them. Tons of great tires. Love Kenda tires. Big thanks to them. If you guys enjoyed the video, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.